I gotta go medicate my dog.
I gotta go get my kid.
Welcome to the Incoherent Fangirl.
Where this week we are back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Look at
Mostly,
us
for sure.
go. Yeah.
Yay.
I'm Mandy of Downton.
I'm Karin from Terracin.
My
Oh,
home.
welcome back to the podcast, friends. Like we said, we're back hopefully to our regular recording schedule. Fingers crossed. Nothing else happens to us.
Fingers crossed.
In our timeline, it is August 21st, and in y'all's timeline, it is August 29th. I'm sorry. What do you mean it's the end of August?
I'm ready though because I've got a cruise next month. So
Very exciting.
come on.
Well, yesterday, as I was getting ready to go to work, and I ordered my coffee, and pumpkin spice is back. So I'm very excited. It's
Surprise.
pumpkin season. No matter what Heather says, pumpkin season is all the time for me.
I mean, this could be a fangirl freestyle one day because I like the pumpkin things, but apple is the superior fall
I c-
flavor.
I can't for me, I don't know what it is. And I know this is so stupid because it's not like they're similar, but for me, apple is I love apple as well, but it's too sweet for me, which is crazy because the pumpkin stuff is also sweet,
Yeah, the
right?
pumpkin
But
stuff is super sweet.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think it's just a different kind of sweetness. I don't know. We could
Yeah.
talk about this for days, so we'll move on. This week in fangirling, Mandy, what'd you do?
Okay, so it's not this week, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Hosier because I talked about it so much in the first half of the season.
That's true, you did.
It was a long, long, long drive. We had to literally drive from the bottom of Arkansas
Hmm.
straight up the center of Arkansas from top, bottom to top. There's nothing in Arkansas. Sorry if you're in Arkansas, but there's nothing in Arkansas. It was worth every single second of that drive. Every single second. We got to stop in Memphis and we got to meet up with Finn.
Yeah.
Finley Ray, one of our author besties, and his wife Roz, who we love.
I'm so jealous.
I know. We had ramen, and then they took us to this like the coolest dessert place in the world. It was like it had in the middle, it had just like cabinets that you just go in and you get what you want out of there. And then they had like a cold case in the back with little tiny like 2 bite sized desserts that were so cheap for what they were and so delicious. And it
I
was so
love.
cute.
That sounds amazing.
Then we went on to Missouri for Andrew. I cannot even put into words what it was like breathing the same air as that man. We got him to play to someone from a warm climate. He dropped Abstract Psychopomp off of the set list to do it. So I was thrilled and devastated because Abstract Psychopomp was one of the ones I was looking forward to the most. But it's okay because we like got warm climate, which is so good. The man is unreal, unreal. And he does what I think all artists should be doing, in that we don't need 17 variants of vinyl and silence on human rights, Taylor.
Hmm.
We need someone to stand on stage and say, none of this
Unequivocally.
is okay.
Yep.
Free Palestine. You know, he gave this whole speech before he sang Nina Cried Power, which Nina, no Irish need apply. It was, Irish people were not treated the best here either, in history. And he like put up on like the little screens behind him just a bunch of songs that you should go and like listen to educate yourself on like uprisings and calling for power and reclaiming power, and it was so moving and special, and that is how you do it.
Hmm.
That is how you do it.
I
You
love
get
that.
on stage because you're in a place of privilege and you demand better for
Yeah.
people who are not in the position as you. It
Yep.
was wonderful. That man is
That's amazing.
wonderful. Yeah. I'm gonna end up making a playlist of all of those songs. I just have to find a list of all of those songs. I was trying to take a video, but I was like halfway in the I was like singing and like screaming before I realized like you should probably video this.
Whoops.
Um, anyways, on the way home, I wanted to get an audiobook that wasn't going to be slutty because my nieces were in the car. Um, and so I started listening to Red Rising, and I'm talking about it now because I haven't finished it. I've just been like casually listening when I get a few minutes. So I've listened to some today. But Red Rising by Pierce Brown. So it takes place on Mars in the future, like way off distant future, and you'll never believe it. They're trying to colonize Mars.
I'm shocked. This is my shocked face.
Yes. So the story follows Darrow, who's a red hell diver, or basically he's like a miner, and they are trying to terraform Mars to make it habitable, right? And so the reds are like the lowest on the societal totem pole. Different colors go up to the golds. So through a series of events, Darrow finds that Mars has already been terraformed
Hmm.
forever.
Hmm.
And basically, the golds are just keeping the reds under their feet, under their boots, keeping them as slaves so that they don't have to share the wealth of the planet with the lowly slaves that they have.
Lovely.
Right. After an absolutely devastating event that I still can't talk about, Darrow is recruited by a rebel group to infiltrate the Golds and become one of them in order to bring them down from the inside. So it's very Hunger Games. It's very Divergent. It's written by a man, but I'm not holding that against it. It's a very pretty man, as
It's
we
a
discovered.
very pretty man.
Yeah,
I
a
don't know,
shockingly pretty
like
man.
I was not prepared for that.
No,
I was
God.
I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking like maybe like a younger George R. R. Martin, not like
Yes,
that.
exactly. Yes, I was
The
not expecting Pierce Brown to look like he does.
very pretty man.
Wow.
Very pretty
Wow.
man.
Anyways, my last note on that one is I don't know why Pierce has to hurt me like this because there are parts like it was recommended to me by several people, but like a friend of mine, I posted, I was like, do I really read Shatter Me or do I reread Throne of Glass on this drive? And they were like, try something new, try this. But there are parts that are a little gruesome for me because it's very Hunger Games. The Golds basically have to prove that they're ruthless and they go into
Mm,
like a fake it's kind of a simulation where they can rip each other apart. So it gets pretty graphic for me
okay.
every now and then, and I'm like, oh, but it's also like it's so painful. It's so painful emotionally. So yeah, Red
Fun
Rising by
times.
Pierce Brown. I know I talked last week about how my grandmother passed, and so I've been in kind of a funk. I haven't really let myself feel my feelings about it yet. But I have been re-binging Downton Abbey. The Gilded Age ended for this season the day after my grandma died, which is rude and selfish. Consider the bereaved. Hello.
Right? How dare you?
Um, so this has been my coping mechanism was re-binging Downton. I've watched it through probably 4 or 5 times before, and I just this time realized that it's Mr. Molesley, not Mr. Mosley. There's an L in there, like he's like a mole, Mr. Molesley. So that was shocking. Um, as an eldest daughter, Mary is our queen, and I will hear no slander against her. I don't care if she says cruel things. Edith is the worst. So there's that. I'm in the middle of season 5, so I'm closing in on like the end of like the TV parts. Then I'll watch the next 2 movies in preparation for the movie that comes out next month. I've read For the Rest of Us by a lot of people, but edited by Dahlia Adler. More on that later. And then you've seen this, but in case the listeners haven't, something very exciting came in the mail today. A physical copy of my book. There are, I forgot, 265 pages,
It is
and I wrote every word on every
very,
single one of them.
very upsetting that I don't have. But where's my copy, Mandy?
I'm
Where's my
sorry.
copy?
I'll get one to you.
I'm so offended.
Is this not the craziest thing you like? I just stood
That's
there
wild.
and I can't stop staring at it. I can't stop like flipping through the pages, looking at all the words, and like I
Also,
wrote all of
I,
these.
for some reason, I thought it was chunkier.
I mean, yeah,
I
you would
think
think.
I maybe, I don't know,
It
but
doesn't have like really great spacing.
yeah, it's not formatted, maybe.
Mm,
Yeah.
eh.
You
So
also,
it does have some spots.
but it
Huh?
does it have like all the copyright pages and the about the author and all of the
Yeah.
other extra stuff? It's like for real seas, Mandy.
It's like for realsies, except I need to add like this is a work of fiction,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
blah blah blah, because that's the copyright page right now, but
It's
it's a
happening.
real whole ass book. So yeah, I'm gonna go through this with a pen and a highlighter and make any last second changes that I might need to. Because there
Mm-hmm.
are some spots where there's like random spaces,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
gaps that don't need to be. And then I will be asking for ARC readers and putting up pre-orders. And I'm thinking October 13th, which is a Monday. And I don't care because October and 13th, like, I don't
It
know.
it sounds right. It
It's
feels right.
it's Ghosts and Reapers. We're gonna do it on the 13th of October.
Right.
And it'll
That's
just be a
valid.
Monday release.
That's valid.
And
You can
that
do
was
whatever
my
you want.
week. Yes, exactly. I can do what I want. I wrote it. I can release it whenever I want.
A
There are a
hundred
couple
percent.
things like there's a period missing on the back and this is upside down. So I've worked with I asked the graphic designer if he could fix that.
But yay!
I wrote all of that. How insane is that?
It's
This is
wild.
5 years
That's
in the making,
crazy.
everybody.
This is so
Five
exciting.
years.
Yay!
Yay.
So exciting.
And that was my week, pretty much.
Week plus.
Week plus Hosier. I couldn't not speak on that man, okay? It
You
was
had to. You had to. It's
incredible.
valid.
It was
It's valid.
incredible.
Very valid.
What did you do this week?
Okay, so I read Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, book four in a series. So, things are happening. There are battles and reunions and romance and politics and general fantasy shenanigans. And it's a good time.
Yeah.
I read Napkins and Other Distractions by M.A. Wardell, which is book three in a series of standalones. So you could read it by itself if you wanted to. Vincent,
Read it by yourself.
read it by itself if you want to. Words are hard, okay?
They are hard.
Words are hard. Which is something that my daughter has started saying regularly now, and I'm like, oh no, what have I done?
Uh-oh. Whoops.
It's pretty funny though. Okay, so you have Vincent from book one and Kent from book two, who are complete opposites. Vincent, with his OCD, is very tidy and very clean, whereas Kent is chaos and mess incarnate. They match on a dating app. They actually hit it off really well on their date and have a hot hookup for dessert and then expect to never see each other again. Kent is the principal of Lear Elementary School, which is having this new software installed in order to monitor and collect school data because their test scores are down. And surprise, surprise, Vincent is on the team that is working on this install, and romance shenanigans ensue. It's
Love
a
it.
fun time. I read the first two books during our break, and I was messaging Matt while I was reading, and I was like, I'm so excited that, first of all, they're super spicy. They're all male romances, and I'm obsessed with the fact that this got picked up for Trad Pub because I feel like this is a market that is not like, this is a subset of
Not
romance
something
that
you
is
see
not, yeah,
often
like
enough.
I need more gay romance written by gay men, and I need
Yeah.
it. I would love it to be spicy. I would love it to have all the things that we love in romance
Yeah.
in Trad Pub, because like obviously Indie Pub is doing it. They're doing whatever the fuck they want because they can. But like Trad Pub really needs to step it up, and I love that this is happening. So highly recommend. Book four of the series comes out, I want to say November, maybe
Okay.
October, soon-ish, before the end of this year, and I'm super excited because it revisits the couple from book one as they're getting married, and
Oh.
and everybody, like the main characters of each book, they all like know each other in one way or another, so it's like I'm sure we'll get really fun cameos and things like that, so I'm really, really excited.
That's sweet.
Yes. And bonus, the one of the men in book one is a single dad, and he's got a little girl who is like the student of his now like partner, and like she is so cute and I'm obsessed, and I love like a single parent romance because single
Yeah.
parent. So it was really fun. I loved it so much. I read Demon with Benefits by Aurora Asher, which is also book 3 in a series of standalones. So
Ugh,
again, you can read
goodness.
it without reading the other ones, but you should read the other ones because it's a smutty fun time. You know how Aurora does it.
Yes.
So you have Iris, who is a witch. Her parents were killed by a demon, and she is understandably not keen on demons. Except now her twin sister is dating a demon and is also friends with all of his friends slash found family who are also demons. So she kind of has to put up with them. Even Meth, who is the tattooed all over, literally all over. Yes, including where you are thinking. Um,
Ouch.
He is a pain in her ass, but he's also uses humor to hide the literal demon that is hiding
Think
within him.
about how awkward that tattoo session has to be.
Yeah. Also,
That poor artist.
it would have to be in a certain state in order for that to work, right?
Yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Very awkward.
Uncomfortable all around.
All around. Anyways, so he is a demon, obviously. He uses humor to kind of hide the literal demon that is hiding within him, and she can't seem to stop thinking about him. And it's really pissing her off because, like, he's a demon, and demons killed her parents, so she should hate them all. One thing leads to another, and they enter into a friends with benefit situation until shenanigans ensue. Things
The
happen.
shenanigans.
I mean, you
They
know.
shenaned and they shenaned again.
Yes, indeed. Then I read The Romance Ravelry by Susan Lee. I love Susan Lee. She is so cool. I'm obsessed with her. Everybody should go read her books. So in this one, you have Irene and Aiden, who are college students. They are rival online book reviewers who end up at the same college and enter into a competition in order to fall in love first using common romance tropes. This one is for the romance readers. In the dedication, she writes, like, it's not a guilty pleasure, it's just pleasure. And I'm like, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. And of course, shenanigans ensue because how do you have a romance without shenanigans? You don't. You don't. It is so cute. It is so much fun. And it's just, it really is for the romance readers. Like, if you know, you know. Like, it has never been more true than this book. Just reading it and seeing, like, all the tropes that are talked about, all of the, like, things that you can see happening, and like it's so meta too because they're romance reviewers, right? So they know all the
Yeah.
romance tropes. So like it's told, most of it is told from Irene's POV, and so like a lot of you see a lot of her thinking like in romance tropes, like, okay, hold on, this guy, if I were to date him, that would be an age gap, and this guy, if I would date him, it would be like second chance. And like it's so funny and just
Oh.
so much fun. Highly recommend it. And I am also like one short story away from finishing For the Rest of Us, edited by Dahlia Adler, and we will talk about that shortly. And that has pretty much been my week. We have Worst Cooks in America has restarted for the newest season, and it's the last season that was filmed before Anne Burrell passed away.
Oh.
And so my daughter and I are, of course, watching it together. And at the end of every episode, they have like a little like in memory of, and it's and like a like if you're struggling,
Yeah.
contact XYZ. And it's just it's like it's hard because it's like Worst Cooks in America is so funny
Yeah.
because it's so ridiculous, but at the same time you're like thinking about what she must have been going through privately, and
Yeah.
it's like it's a struggle. So it's like it's two sides, and yeah, but that's pretty much what life has been like this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have a fictional boyfriend from this week?
Hmm. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Um, I don't.
You're too
Hmm.
early to say Manon Blackbeak, but she's coming, don't you worry.
No, I love Manon. I do love
Just
Manon.
wait. Just
I
wait.
like literally.
I
I
want her to
think
step on me.
the like from the moment, like it's funny because I think you texted me right before her very first chapter. Um, and then she showed up and she was like ripping people's throats out. I'm like, I love
Love
you.
her.
Hi, I love you. So I do love Manon. I really love Kale. Also, I
I
really love.
know,
Okay, so am I misremembering, or did you once tell me that there's a lot of Adian hate because I love Adian?
yeah. Yes.
Like,
And they are wrong.
I,
Everyone hates Adian, and
I,
they are
I
wrong.
love Adian. I love Adian so much.
There's a
Like,
situation that's going to happen
I don't
that
understand.
people rip Adian apart about, but if Adian was a woman
Mm,
and the other parties had been a man,
mm-hmm,
they would be the first one to
mm-hmm.
scream and cry. So you don't
I
get to hate Adian. I'm sorry.
I love
No.
Adian. Like I
He
love
is my
Adian.
sweet, precious
He
baby
is. I
angel.
love Adian. Like
Yes, I don't do Adian slander.
if I have to be an Adian apologist, I will because I love
Yeah,
him. Like I don't care what
he
anybody
doesn't have
says.
anything to apologize for.
No,
He
there's
does not.
nothing. I love
He was
him.
completely right in that situation. He's done completely wrong,
I love him.
horrifically.
Love
He's not
him.
done horrifically. They want to do something. They want his involvement in something, and they don't give him a say. They try
Rude.
not to give him a say,
No, but I love
and
him.
it's shitty. It's shitty. They did Adian dirty.
I do. I love Adian. And I know that you had said like you don't really care about Rowan, but I kind of like him.
I mean, most people
Like
do. I just am
he's
like, he's the
I'm
last
like
one I care about.
he's not like I'm not running into battle for Rowan, but like I like him. He's
Yeah.
he's not terrible. Like he's fine.
I could take Rowan or I could leave Rowan is basically how I feel. And that's not like he doesn't do anything wrong. He's
Yeah.
just not.
Yeah, no, I'm
Lorcan is there. I mean, I'm sorry. He's the 6'7", 6'8" tall death magic that sounds like he looks like Adam Driver. Hello? Hello? You
no,
want
but
me to look at The Witcher?
I I I do love me some Adian. I do love Kale. Um I love Manon. Um yeah, I don't know. It's a good cast. It's a good
Yeah.
cast. I'm a
Yeah.
fan. Um I also I don't know. I feel like all of the characters are really fun.
Yeah. Have you
I
met
also
Elide yet?
yes. Yes.
Love her.
I have, but like not
Probably just barely.
yeah, like she's just this is like her first book,
Yeah.
Queen of Shadows. And she's just I guess mild spoilers for the series. Or the end of this book, I guess, but like she's just Manon's just like saved her and she's like, "Okay, you need to go to the north and if I see you again, we might be in battle." So I
I'm
feel like
so jealous of you
she's
right
gonna
now. You
get
don't
she's gonna
understand.
get more page time, screen time in the
I'm
next books.
so jealous. I wish I could. I wish.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
All right, your turn.
Well, first I have to say Aaron Warner because we got news this week. We are getting Aaron's POV, 30-year-old Aaron Warner. Please, please, please.
What a
I could
week for you.
die.
What a week for you.
Oh, God. So Aaron Warner, always and forever. If I don't say him, it's because it's just understood at this point. He's literally in the
I hope
acknowledgments of this
I
book.
hope we get an explanation because we had talked about it when we talked about Watch Me, but I hope we get an explanation for why they're calling him Aaron Warner Anderson
I know because I don't
because it bothers
like
me.
that.
It
Yeah,
bothers me. And so
not
I hope we get some sort of explanation or
that baby is
just
his
like a
mama's
casual
son,
just like a
not his
casual
daddy's son.
mention of it or something, you
Yeah,
know? Just like it doesn't have to be involved, just like a
maybe
casual
it's like I
mention.
want them to think I'm ruthless
Yeah,
because he is, but
or maybe he wanted like more of a connection to James, you know, like that might be
maybe.
you know, because they're trying and you know, James has come to live with them and all of that and maybe he's like maybe this is something symbolic that I can do for my brother. But I don't know, but like, you know, I would just like an explanation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Does
because
I
we
can't remember now. Did James and Adam not have the same mother?
James
No,
and
they don't.
I don't remember.
I don't think they do because I was gonna say why didn't he go by Kent
That's true.
too? I don't know
That's a
because
good.
like he didn't
Yeah.
even know Aaron for a long time. Spoilers.
Yeah. Look, it's been how many years since the series has come out? It
Yeah.
like
I mean, I read it earlier this year, last year,
yeah.
Christmas break.
But
Um, I can't remember. I don't really think about Adam if I mean Aaron exists. Why do I need to think about Adam Kent? Anyway, so Aaron Warner and then Tom Branson, my little Irish socialist angel baby who's in Downton there by himself. He's the beat of my heart. I love him. Branson's like my favorite character on the whole show.
nice.
Yeah. So Aaron and Tom.
Good choices. That sound means we have an intruder
It's an
alert.
intruder alert.
I'm so excited, you guys. We have Dahlia Adler here. We're going to talk about For the Rest of Us. She is the editor and contributor for this anthology. I'm so excited. I not to be weird, but I'm low-key obsessed with you. So I'm very excited to have you here. So normally we would ask for like a elevator pitch for the book in case anybody hasn't heard of it, but I would actually love to know how you pitched this to like contributors to be like, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this?" if that was something that you did or didn't do. I don't know the whole
That's
process.
a great question. The funny thing is, I actually had to pitch this repeatedly because it had been in the works for so long that I initially pitched it years ago to contributors, got people interested, and then sort of accidentally sold two other anthologies at the same time and had to
Oh
backburner it.
no.
And then, a year later, I was like, no, it's really going to happen now. So some people could stay, some people couldn't, and then I had to pitch it again because it took another year. So this has been in the works for so long. The whole thing has basically been, I wish I remembered like my exact line, but effectively, I just wanted to do an inclusive holiday anthology. Like, I think we all know that holiday story in YA has kind of always basically just meant Christmas story. And so I just wanted something that encompassed a wider variety of holidays, as is celebrated by many readers, and many humans in general. So I think it was really just that way. There were certain holidays I obviously really wanted told. I think I generally approached writers with like, I want to do this inclusive holiday anthology, and I would love for you to do an X story. So usually with anthologies, like this is my fifth. So for example, starting with His Hideous Heart was my first one, and that was um, it's an anthology of retellings of Edgar Allan Poe stories. I was kind of like, tell me your top three choices. And this was like, no, you're here to do this.
Hey,
Please
that's
do this. I
cool.
would really love to have a story about this holiday in YA. So thankfully, it was an easy pitch. It was not difficult to get people on board, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, oh
How
my
do
gosh, I
you
love it.
lead this charge though? It seems like such a mountainous task to get so many, what is it, 13? It's
Yeah.
13. 12 other people to be on a
There's
deadline and
co-writers, so
get you
it,
what
it
you
is
need.
13 other people. But that part is like my favorite part because I know a lot of people. Like I've been doing this a long time. For me to like slide into somebody's DMs or text messages or whatever is sort of the least daunting part of it for me, which is nice because you really do have to be comfortable doing that. Especially like when you're approaching, let's say bigger authors who might have busy slates and, sometimes you're approaching 20 people to get 13 or more. So, but people really like, at least conceptually, being in anthologies, especially in the earlier years. Like, I almost never heard no. So that was very encouraging. I hear it more now just because I think people are busier or they feel more like I had people who were like, I'm really not actually for this anthology, but like, I'm not really doing YA anymore.
Mm.
Or, oh, you're looking for contemporary stories. I'm really just trying to stay in the fantasy realm now. I had somebody, drop out from a year earlier and, was sort of just like, I really just, I don't want to have a foot in contemporary anymore. So those kinds of things happen. But for the most part, people are really enthusiastic about being in anthologies. It's like a fun, kind of side project. It's another thing to do. It's flexing a different writing muscle to do a short story. It's being part of a, greater collection, which people like working with other authors sometimes. And it's doing something where somebody else is going to do the promo. So I think people like that too, because we are all sick of doing our own. So thank you for your role in helping me do that, because I have a
Of
super hard time
Oh
course.
my
doing
gosh, was so
Black Friend's
excited.
book. I'm so
Like,
burned out on all that. But
so you mentioned you're like an anthologist. You have several
yeah.
anthologies that you've edited. You're also a frequent contributor to anthologies. And as someone who has very recently written a short story to be potentially included in an anthology, they're very hard. It's so
Yes.
hard to like
Yes.
get an entire story in so few words. Um, as somebody who is like incredibly talented at writing full-length novels as well, what is the process for you to like write short stories versus a full-length novel? How does your writing process differ between the two of them, and what draws you to like writing something as a short story versus a full-length novel?
First of all, thank you for the kind words. I needed those. Second of all, I was terrified of short stories. When I was first asked to do an anthology, the very first time I was invited was for The Radical Element, which was edited by Jess Spotswood, who's also a prolific anthologist in YA. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. I had always felt like I do not know how to make a short story interesting without killing somebody off. Like any short story I had written before then, somebody died because I didn't know, like, I'm like, how else do you make it interesting in 10 to 15 pages? And what you come to realize is like, it doesn't need to be hugely dramatic. If you think about like the smaller things in your life that everything else kind of hinged on, or that turning point in your life, that, something that was really big to you that you kind of want to like really look at closer, but is not a whole book's worth. I mean, those are the things that are sort of perfect for anthology stories. You pick that little part of your character journey that, one kind of plot point, that thing that means something to you. The second anthology I was invited to was a queer historical anthology. And I was like, well, I have to think about what points in time or what events in time I care about. And that helped center it. Actually, my first two anthologies were both historical, which was wild to me because I had never written historical. And after I set the first one in 1838, and I was like, this research process is a nightmare. I set my second one in 1994, a part of history I was around for. So that helped. But it's just, if you could pick something little that feels bigger on the inside than it looks on the outside, that's sort of your perfect anthology topic. Or something like my anthology story for At Midnight, like there was just, I wanted to write about like a girl catfishing another girl. Like I just had that element of the story. Now, either you can flesh that out into a whole novel, or you can say, that is the crux of what I'm doing. Everything's in service of that in this small section. That is what I'm focusing on. I don't need a B plot. I don't need a large cast. I need to focus on, just this character and this short journey from A to B. It's always interesting playing with different lengths, like the difference between what's going to be a short story and what's going to be a novella and what's going to be a novel. And I've never done a novella, but I'm like working on my first one that I hope I will be putting out next year. Oh, there's something I haven't talked about much. Um, but it's in the works. And that's like kind of like writing, it's still like writing a romance novel, but I just don't have a B plot. But a short story is even less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's each one, it's like with my books, each one kind of has a starting point. I don't have a process. Somebody actually asked me today if I like wanted to teach a craft class on something, and I was like, my brain is not, I don't have like a craft brain. A thing just kind of like comes to me and I'm like, yeah, I want to work with that. And then it kind of snowballs from there. And a short story just doesn't snowball that much.
Yeah.
But part of it also is if you are trying to learn how to write short stories, and you really don't know where to start, I have to say, I really recommend doing retellings of other short stories. I mean, for me, that was fantastic. They were not my first ones, but then working off a Poe story, working off a Shakespeare play, working off a fairy tale, like that really helps you condense it to taking up that same amount of space. It shows you how a master got from point A to point B, and told a whole story in that space. And so, like, I think it's a fantastic classroom exercise. I did a panel on anthologies once at NCTE, which is for educators. And I was like, I love this for classroom use. I mean, I definitely envision for the rest of us for classroom use too. And so, yeah, sometimes you just see a much longer journey, and sometimes you see that point that makes a good story. It feels really good to feel like now, if I have to write a short story, I can. Like, thinking back to that panic, it feels
Yeah.
like a long time ago. I mean, I
It's
guess it was a long time ago.
wildly like it's wildly daunting. Like it's very
Yeah.
wildly and surprisingly daunting to write a short story because you're like, wait, words. I like words.
But it is to everyone. I mean, there are very, very established, very talented YA authors who will not do anthologies because they do not have any faith in their ability to write short stories. I have talked to some who it's a hard no, not because they don't have time, but because they truly do not believe they can do it.
It's
So for
it's
me,
it's
I
a
was not under contract when I was first invited, and it was great because I had the time to work myself up to it. I was like, if I don't say yes to this, I know I'm terrified, but if I don't say yes to this now, I can't guarantee any more invitations will come. When am I going to get this chance again? And I'm so glad that I was kind of scared into it.
I
Oh, I
love
love
that.
that. Can I scare you into maybe doing a recipe book? Because your short story had me drooling, except for the fish head.
Yeah.
I don't eat the
Like
fish
the
head.
fish head was so relatable. Um,
My
so I would
husband and
love a
father-in-law
recipe
do the
book.
fish head. I do not touch it.
That was a question that I had written down actually. It starts out so relatable with, is it Eliora?
Hmm.
I wanted to make sure I pronounced it right.
Yes, Elliot.
Absolutely refusing to even come close to like, I'm not going to eat that fish head, which is a whole mood. How do you balance in writing and in real life, like respecting the traditions of these holidays, but with also having your own boundaries? Like, I don't care what it says we're supposed to do. I'm not eating a fish's eyeballs. I'm sorry. Like,
So for the record, that is totally a custom, not a must. Um,
okay,
it's just a tradition that you like absolutely do not have to do. But exploring that boundary, there's like two parts to your question. I don't know if you meant them both this way, but I like on the one hand, there is the, balancing it within the laws of your religion if you're somebody who observes them strictly. And then there's also what for me is a big part of why I did not want to write observant Jewish characters for a long time, which is I can say bad things about things we do. You can't, though.
right,
So, how do I write this so I don't feel like I'm giving like a reader permission to think like
right,
That's
you
a
don't
good
get to
point.
say it's gross.
Yeah.
I get to say it's gross.
yeah.
And I think it's just so, like, in a way, this is also really central to my adult romance coming out next year because it's modern Orthodox characters, and there's definitely things where people are like, that rule is not for me. That's, and you got to show the things you love. I mean, there's a reason that she chooses to keep it, that I choose to keep it, that my characters choose to observe whatever it is that we choose to observe, and also choose not to, whatever we choose not to.
Right.
And I just think it's so important to show what you love about these things. But I think it's kind of that love is almost more believable if it's not without question, if it's not without exception, if
That's
it's
a
not
good
without
point.
consideration. And I feel like there's a lot of that in this collection where people are sort of like honest about the downsides sometimes of like these close-knit communities and these rigid holidays and societal
Expectations that come with them.
expectations.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of like realistic takes on what it means to celebrate the holiday. To celebrate holidays in general, like with your family, they can be fraught and they are, full of custom that may feel like they stop fitting you at a time. So I think the whole thing is really interesting. And really felt like we did not see it enough in YA. I mean, not that one anthology means, oh, now we're covered, but
Yeah.
I,
No,
I
I really
loved,
want more.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
100%.
loved coming across holiday scenes in books.
Yes.
Um,
Especially ones that like I don't know about. I
Right. I
love
yes.
learned
seeing
so
that.
much.
Yeah. a hundred
Yeah.
percent. So speaking on that, I'm
Mhm.
curious if like this anthology in particular was more difficult or just like different to edit compared to your other ones, where it's like things like Shakespeare and Poe and fairy tales and whatever like that is you can easily like research, right? You can
Right.
easily make sure like you're getting it right. But with something like cultural holidays that you may or may not celebrate. Like I feel
Right.
like maybe that's a little bit harder. And of course you trust your writers to like get it right, but also like in editing, like how was that process? Like, wait, this doesn't sound right, but maybe I just don't know what's happening. Like, you know, if
So
that makes
this is
sense.
definitely like it's a great question. I did think about it. This is one where you have to trust pretty much everyone as an expert in their own thing. I did feel like contributors were very upfront about it if it was actually not something that they celebrated to the extent their characters did. I mean, nobody wrote about something with which they had no experience, and I
Right, right.
asked
Right.
knowing that, like I obviously knew kind of everybody's backgrounds before inviting them to the anthology. But I had, somebody tell me like celebrating this is very new for me. So, something that's a holiday I celebrate, I was able to kind of pick things out and make corrections. But things where I don't, you just, you really have to have the faith in your writers.
Yeah.
And I do. I have that faith in these writers, and as far as I know, they did a great job. But for anthologies, I do read reviews, especially this. I mean, there aren't so many reviews. Not so many people have read it because there are not hard copy arcs. Um, so I haven't seen if anybody's had any complaints. But like I said, I just, I trust it. If anything did look funny to me, I would look it up. And of course, it goes through copy edits where somebody else does that too. They were really attentive to things like pronunciation and which version, which variation of the transliteration do we want to use and things like that. Like there's definitely research involved on the production side of a book as well from Harper. And big shout out to Harper, I have to say, for the audiobook where they found narrators. They culture matched, I think, every single narrator,
Oh my
Oh, I love
which
gosh.
was
that.
like shocking to me. It was amazing. And I went and they sent me like three options for each story. And, I went to the
Oh my God.
contributors and, they'd be like, well, I'm sure they can't get anybody who's like, let's say Brazilian Portuguese, but I'm like, they all speak Brazilian Portuguese,
That's
every single one. It was
amazing.
very
Oh, I
cool.
bet the
So
author reactions were like,
it was
Oh,
great. Yes.
what?
that's
Like
fantastic.
major, major respect for that.
Yeah.
Um,
As a
that was
huge
very cool.
audiobook person, like that, I love things like that. That's so
W on doing the
exciting.
homework
Yes,
for
I love it. I'm
sure.
obsessed with that.
Because they could have smacked anybody in there
Right.
and called it done. But
Yeah, they also could have
wow.
Yes.
said we're having one person do the whole thing or two people do the whole thing. In the
Right.
beginning, I actually thought it was going to be fewer, and I was like, can we at least get three? Like, try to have at least like male, female, and non-binary if we can.
Mm,
Yeah.
And then they ended up there's so many narrators because they did this, and it's fantastic. Like,
That
it's
is
really, I don't think
that's
amazing.
any story shares. I don't think any
incredible.
narrator does more than three stories.
That is amazing. I
Yeah,
love
it
that
was
so
very
Oh,
much.
cool.
man.
That
Yeah.
makes me so
So
happy.
were there you said you kind of knew the holidays that you wanted when you started
Yeah,
reaching
it
out about the
wasn't a
anthology?
100% match. I didn't get like every single thing I wanted. And I also, have learned from doing these, you have to cut the number off at a certain point.
Yeah.
I think some people feel like, well, why don't you just get everyone possible? And it's like, because they don't get paid then. Because
Right. Yeah.
like the money gets split up between everyone. And if you have 20, they're dividing by 20 instead of
Right.
dividing by 13. So, I try to keep it and like, but there are certain things that are not in there that I wish were in there actually.
So does that mean we can hope for a part two? Because I loved it.
It's so
Thank
much fun.
you. I don't know about a part two. I think this is probably my last. I have to say, there's one anthology idea that I'm like in love with, but one thing I heard when this anthology was on submission, I was like, oh, I feel like this is a no-brainer. Somebody's gonna buy it like, day of. For sure there'll be multiple offers. And it did sell relatively quickly, but like it was the one offer and like everybody else like we don't do anthologies anymore. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh, that golden era
Oh,
of
you're
anthologies
boring.
is
I didn't
really
realize.
gone,
no.
huh?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I
You guys are
love
too boring for our
anthologies.
anthologies.
So
Oh,
that part was sad. Like YA is really not really doing them anymore.
that's sad.
So
I
I
love
don't
a
think
good
they'll be seeing a
Sucks.
part two or a part one of anything else, but I do have this one idea in mind that I love. But yeah, no, this one's it.
Oh,
But I do hope it encourages people to do more holiday novels.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that would be
That'd be
great.
I
amazing.
I was telling Karen earlier today, I would love a, and I going to be ignorant and pronounce it wrong probably. Diwali. My
Diwali, yeah.
neighbor, my neighbor celebrates, and so I see all of her photos and all of the food she makes, and I'm like, I feel like this would be such an incredible, like
Yeah.
dramatic, dramatized work of fiction, even though like it's historical in culture.
Yeah.
I feel like it
I
would be
just
such a beautiful story to read.
I hope it encourages a lot of people to be like, wait, there's a market for this. I can write
Yes,
about my
people want to read
culture's
this.
stories.
Or see like, oh, this only exists in short story form. Like there
Yes.
could be a whole novel about it.
Or
Yeah,
a whole
Yeah. I would
series about
really,
it.
really love for that to
that
happen.
would be amazing. Yes. Okay, so we don't want to keep you too long. So, but we do have a couple questions that we
Mm.
always ask. And they're just kind of like fun ones for just, you know, after talking about your book for so long. So we have a segment on the podcast that we call Fictional Boyfriend of the Week, where we pick a fictional character that we really love. It doesn't necessarily have to be a boyfriend. I've had a fictional granny, Mandy's had a fictional son, like just any fictional character. Do you have anybody that you're like, I think you need to meet this person?
TV, movie,
Movie, anything.
books. This is where everything you've ever consumed
It's
like
gone.
goes out of your brain, and you're like, have I ever read a book in my
What
life? Have
It's
I
is,
ever seen a
exactly what
TV
I was
show?
just thinking.
yeah.
Like everybody's gone.
What's a
Um,
movie?
Do I know a book? What's that?
but the last book I read was really cute. It was If We Were a Movie by Zakiya and Jamal, and it's a really fun sapphic contemporary YA romance. And they work in like it's like a black movie theater, and they're sort of, it has. I feel if I say Empire Records vibes, am I like
No,
super dating myself and no one knows what I
No.
mean?
I
But
know what
where you have to like
yeah.
save the independent institution.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's like some of that, and it's enemies to lovers, and the main character, Rochelle, is a delight. So I'm gonna go with Rochelle from If We Were a Movie. She's my actually her whole friend group is great. I want that friend group.
We've
So
had
all
Well,
the,
fictional
we
friend
yeah.
groups before.
they're
Yeah.
like really fun and really queer and really quirky, and I really liked hanging out with them. So I'm picking a whole friend group you need to know.
Perfect. I love it.
Love it.
That's
Love
on my
it.
TBR. So I'm
All
like,
right.
okay, move it up.
All right. And that you kind of answered it, but in that same vein, favorite books, books that we have to read or that our listeners have to read if they haven't, or what are you reading?
Oh no. Okay. I'm gonna go with a few different genres because
Okay.
that's the
Love
only
it.
way I can pick favorites.
Valid.
Big love for me is the queer historical mystery series, the Evander Mills series, starting with Lavender House by L.C. Rosen. I love every. Oh, no, sorry, an adult. It's Lev A.C. Rosen because he also writes YA, and that's L.C. Rosen. I basically just love
Okay.
everything Lev ever writes.
That's
Like
fair.
it's all fantastic, like really fun contemporary, but I just think that historical mystery series is like fantastic. In fantasy, I recently recommended The Book Eaters to my boss and she loved it. It's like really unlike anything that I have read. I don't read a lot of adult fantasy, but it was just really unusual. And for me, like, it makes me feel really old, but I really kind of love when books, especially sci-fi and fantasy, deal with parenting.
Oh,
Hey,
So, but
yeah.
like
yeah.
parenting at a terrible time and like it just has to do with like media consumption and parenting and end of the worldiness. I mean, not literally, but um, oh, but that reminds me, If Tomorrow Doesn't Come by Jen St. Jude, I just think is like the most underrated YA of all time. I will mention it forever. That Beating Heart Baby by Leo Min are two YAs I feel like not nearly enough people have read that I am absolutely obsessed with.
Beating Heart Baby is like
Oh,
right over here, so I need to pull it out.
Yes.
One of the Boys by Victoria Zeller was a really good one I read this year, about a trans girl who pre-transition was on her school's football team, and then post-transition, she's like, well, obviously I'm not on the team anymore, but they're like, no, we really need you on the team. So she kind of goes
Oh,
back, and it's how she deals with it, and it's very sports heavy. Like you can tell the author like really actually knows sports, um, which like I love my home field advantage, but I am not a sports genius. Like it came out around the same time as Like Other Girls by Britta London, which is also fantastic. And I'm like, if you want the romance heavier version, read Home Field
read
Advantage.
this one.
If you want the
Yeah.
sports heavier version, read Like Other Girls. So this was more like Other Girls in the sense of like these authors actually know football really well. And so if that's the thing you really want in your sports fiction, yes, Like Other Girls. Not Like Other Girls, sorry. also that, but One of the Boys by Victoria Zeller was a really good one I read this year. What else? What else? Do I
No,
have
like,
too many?
no, I love
No,
listening.
you're
I'm
great.
like, I love when other people give me recommendations because
Yes,
it's just like,
exactly.
I love feeling that love for it, and then I'm like more excited to read it.
My brain is like really like I'm trying to think romance because that's like 90% of what I read now, but everything is blending in my head. But I really like right now those more like genre mashup-y things where they're like rom-coms but also mysteries or I Did Something Bad.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really fun one and set in Myanmar, which I have never read anything set there before. So I thought that was really cool. But the book in general was just like really fun. I immediately bought the author's next one, which comes out next week. Sorry, I don't know what day this airs, but it comes out
No.
August 26th. Let's say that. And yes, that was a really fun one I read recently. And then there's something else that was really interesting. A Killer Getaway by Sienna Sharp. That was it. Also, it's like rom-com and it feels very marketed as a rom-com, but it's also like a revenge thriller and the main character is a serial
Oh.
killer. And the whole thing
Wait,
is fascinating.
Oh,
I
And
okay,
it's
like
all
this.
boys.
about revenge on fat phobics at like a health spa.
Okay. I can
It's,
get on board
yeah,
with
I mean,
this.
you do have to sit through, it's like major, major content warning for fat phobia, but like very intentionally so.
Yeah, I
Um,
can get on board with that.
but yeah, that was really interesting. I had not read anything like that in a while. But I was like, this looks so rom-com-y. And then I'm like, hold on, I need
You're
to
like,
like
oh my God,
stop
they're
and
being serial
think.
killed.
Yeah, it was unexpected. Oh, and then I happened to be at FlameCon this past weekend, and I was at the booth, and somebody was like trying desperately to figure out what book it was that they had seen the day before, and they really wanted to get, and they couldn't remember, and we're going through everything, and we realized it was Teach the Torches to Burn by Caleb Rarig, who was one of my contributors in my first anthology. And I will say it's a YA gay Romeo and Juliet set in medieval Italy, and it is with a happier ending. And it is fantastic.
Okay, what's the title
So,
again? Because my new dog just bounced a hard toy all the way down the stairs, and I'm sorry if you heard that.
Ooh.
no, we did not.
Bad boy.
Teach the Torches to Burn. It's part of that
Okay.
Bible and Friends Remixed Classic series where everything's
Oh,
amazing. I
love
mean, I
that.
haven't read it all yet, but I buy
Okay.
every single book in it because they all look amazing. It also has like Self-Made Boys by Anne Marie McLemore, which I loved, which is, trans Gatsby.
Yes.
It's where Most Ardently by Gabe Cole Novoa is from, and A Clash of
Yeah.
Steel by C.B. Lee, and lots
Love,
of
love,
fun
love.
stuff. And the book I am like most excited for 2026 is coming in that series. Of course, I like cannot remember the name of it now. But it's a trans girl, Dorian Gray by Elle Grenier. It's like
Oh,
not this monstrous thing, but it's something close to that.
Wait,
oh
I know
no.
exactly what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
I can't.
I will
It's
wake up. I'm gonna Google it, but I'll wake up at 3 in the morning like,
right. This is what it is. Yeah.
I know, so I want to like surreptitiously look it up over here. But I'm so excited for that. It's really cool that there's like two big trans girl books next year. There's also Queen of Faces by Petra Lord, which is a
Which is
really
so
interesting
good.
looking fantasy. Oh, you read it?
I read it. I work at a bookstore. Well, I'm a social media manager for a bookstore, and the store manager was like, "I need you to read this and tell me how it is," because she's not really a fantasy reader. And I was like, "Sold! It's so good. I'm obsessed
this
with it."
wretched beauty.
Okay, excellent.
Oh,
This wretched beauty.
This Wretched Beauty.
I was
Thank
like,
you.
I
Oh
knew it
my
was
God.
Yeah.
something like that.
I don't know
Yeah,
why I struggle with that so much, but I'm like, whatever. I just
yeah,
pre-ordered immediately and then I
yeah.
don't have to worry
Add
Yeah.
to
about
cart.
You're like sold.
Yeah,
Add to
that was
done.
cart.
like the easiest pre-order of my life. I'm so excited for that book.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating to me because I know that that author was shopping around the trans girl Legally Blonde. As far as I know, didn't sell. I mean, I could also just not know,
How does that not sell?
Wait, that
but I
sounds
would kill for that. Like
yes.
kill.
That would be
Um,
amazing.
yes.
Oh,
So I'm so glad something happened, and then I'm like, hopefully we go back and that
Yeah.
yeah.
Go back
sells
to that
later.
once this
But
one
I hope
sells
it sells
incredibly. Yeah.
incredibly, and then they go back and they buy that one so that
yeah,
we can
I
have
will
that
like go
one
nuts
as
if
well.
that never becomes. I mean, no, I'm not even putting that into universe.
They'll
I'm
No,
be
just
no,
like,
it's
do
going
you
to.
are you sure you want to do the trans legally blonde? What, like it's hard? Are you sure you can
nice,
sell it? What, like it's
nice.
hard?
Oh, and I have
Oh,
to give a shout out to Jennifer Dugan, who I happen to have like ended up doing all my events with this year. Summer Girls was really fun. I'm really looking forward to Anderson and Bloom. I'm just like, she can do everything. She has like paranormal graphic novels and adult sapphic romances and these really cute summary YA books. And she's like, yeah, you publish like 30 books a year. I can't even keep up with them. But it's really fun and I love her stuff. And it's very nice for me that she's so prolific. What
I
else have I
love
read lately? That's good.
it. I could listen to you
Um,
give Rex all day,
I
honestly. Wait,
know.
speaking of which,
oh, yes,
I want to talk about LGBTQ reads
I can talk about that.
because I think it's so cool. How did
Thank
it
you.
start? Tell us kind of all of, well, first of all, tell us what it is for anybody who doesn't know, and then tell us how it started and how you're kind of like maintaining it as the years go on.
So LGBTQ Reads is my website, like kind of a reference database, sort of a blog, but like without much creative content from me. And basically, I started it in March 2016. So it is coming up on its 10th anniversary, which is just like wild to me. But basically, there were all these different isolated queer book blogs. So there was Gay YA, which turned into YA Pride, and there were a whole bunch of MM sites, and there were a few like FF book sites, like the Lesbian Review, and Casey, the Canadian Lesbian, had a site, and um, who did Danica write for before Book Riot? I don't remember, but there were like a few different things, but I was like, I feel there was like just starting. I mean, new adult was kind of rising, and there were some queer new adult titles, and queer middle grade was like finally kind of happening, and they sort of didn't fit anywhere. But I was also like, I feel like queer readers kind of more than anybody else are willing to read cross category in order to find the representation that they want. And so why aren't these all in one place? What's funny is like there's been such a boom in every single genre and category of queer lit that now people no longer need to do that. And the site is like unwieldy, and I get how it looks ridiculous and like pointless at this stage. But when it started, there was so little on the site. I was like, should I do a separate middle grade page for like two titles? Like, is that dumb? And now it's like broken down into contemporary, sci-fi, fantasy, and it's like wild to see how much it's grown. So, but I was also at the time I was blogging for must have been Barnes and Noble at that point. So I blogged for Barnes and Noble for like 6 years and then BuzzFeed for 3 years. And so I was always doing the seasonal queer book preview posts anyway, which at the time was like, oh, here are the 30 queer books coming out this year. And now it's here are the 30 queer YAs coming out this month.
You're right.
Which again, amazing shift. But I was like doing so much of this research anyway. I was like, this is kind of really easy for me to keep up with. Now it's a ton of work. I miss a billion titles, but it's not like I'm the only person doing anything like this. Like, there's people who kind of have their specialties, but I really try to keep up with titles. So I get publicist emails, and that's some of it. And then I get people just reaching out to me personally, especially for stuff like cover reveals. I go on like Edelweiss and NetGalley to look what's coming up. I read deal announcements at least once a week, but sometimes every day because they're fun. And I even like I do a monthly deal announcement post so that I'm really on top of like everything that's coming up. And so, yeah, I mean, and then I have a lot of friends writing it, so I know about their books as they're coming up. So it's a little harder now that I'm on social media, much, much less than I used to be, but I am writing posts for it a year in advance. So at
Wow.
any given time, there's sort of three WordPress pages worth of drafts. Like there already exists most anticipated adult fiction July to December 2026, for example.
Wow.
Like not to be really
Wow.
morbid, but
No.
sometimes I'm like, if I die, nobody else has the password for this site. These random posts that are in like, just have like three titles thrown into them with nothing else are just gonna randomly go up for like a year after I'm gone, creeping people out. I know it's a really
Here
horrible way
she
to think. I
comes
should not
from the
even talk like that,
beyond.
but that's how my brain is. But yeah, and like if I find, and I mean, there's like 1,000 different ways to search on the site. So you can search by like nationality of character, historical romance by era,
I love it. I
you
just want to
know,
say,
Incredible.
disability. Yeah.
as somebody who has used it recently, like I really appreciate because sometimes I just get into a very specific mood and it's hard to like Google. You know,
Yeah.
when you're like very specific down to the detail, and it's like, I want just a place where I can find that really easily, and I love it. I love being able to just see it all at once and be able to be like, okay, I can pick and choose. And yeah, so I don't think it's a waste. I think you're doing great work. I use it. At least there's at least one person using it, okay? So
I'll have a lot of like librarians tell me they use it, and that feels really good because that
yes.
means, tens of other people are probably using it who don't even know that they're using it. But also, so part of it is I also run, a bunch of associated social media accounts, and then I also run a Patreon, which has this tier where I'm like effectively a book concierge. Every month I'm like, what are you in the mood to read this month? And then they kind of tell me what they're in the mood for, and I make some suggestions. And if they like one, great. And if they don't, they tell me why not. And we keep going until we find the perfect book for them. And then I order it for them,
I
and have it sent
love
to their
that.
house. So, but it's interesting because it's taught me so much about what people are. And I also have a Tumblr account. I specifically like Tumblr because people can ask anonymously, which is really important if you're giving queer book recs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I learn a lot about what people are looking for, what they're interested in reading, and also fascinatingly, how much it changes per season. People are such mood readers. Like I see starting in August, but especially in September, suddenly everybody wants spooky. Everybody
Hmm.
wants autumnal. They all of a sudden, every request is like something with witches, something with vampires. And then you hit winter and everybody wants holiday or. And it's so interesting to see. So I'm trying more and more to do posts that kind of cater to like vibe reading
Yeah.
or things that really cater to like how I am asked.
Hmm.
Especially because I know so many people just like don't want to ask. Like I think I'm approachable, but
You are because
no.
I
You
think
are.
you had posted on like threads about like doing interviews, and I was like, wait, does that mean I can just like slide in there? Like what do I
Yes, you
need to do?
can.
Like you are
But some
very
people
approachable. And I'm
some people
like,
are not
yeah.
comfortable asking anybody. So I
Yeah.
always like my goal is like so that you don't have to, not because I don't want people to ask me, but I know for a lot of people that's
Yeah.
really difficult. And especially if you're growing up in an environment where you're already kind of living under terror.
Yeah.
So my goal is like to make it so people can like really quickly and easily find like exactly what they're in the mood for. I hate it when I do not have an answer to somebody's request, and that happens a lot. But I'm trying more and more. I just have to be better about like putting titles in places when they first get in. But I've been really working on the site lately, trying to get like links in and keep
Mhm.
it organized. And
It's
my
great.
like favorite thing I've seen said about it is that it's a site that looks like it's not updated, but actually is. Like it looks like it's never updated. And I'm like, that is exactly what it looks like. It looks like
It's
nobody has touched it in 5 years, but I actually work on it almost every single day.
which is so funny because you're the person that I think of when people are like, "Oh, I need to update my website." I'm like, "Did Dahlia Adler tell you to do that?" Because you're always the one who's like, "Hey, don't forget to update your website."
That is my biggest claim to fame. I will randomly, like somebody I haven't spoken to in a year, will just text like, not text, like post something online like, I just updated my website. I can feel Dahlia Adler being proud of me. I am. Here's your cookie. I've started
You're like, go
responding to
little
those with
rock
cookie
star.
emojis. Um,
Oh.
but it is
Mm.
updated. It's just I like if I were better at technology, I would have a way on the back end where like every time I put in like an ISBN, it would put in all the information you need. Like I know other sites have
Mm.
had that. I don't have that. So every single time the title and a link appears on the website, anything appears on the website, I have personally put that in. So it just
Whew.
takes a really
Yeah.
long time. And I try to use bookshop links, but a lot of those, books kind of get back ordered there really fast. And then I have to
Yeah.
go. Then I go to Amazon, which I know is not because it's the second best, but pretty much the only way I make any money on this website is if people
Right.
buy things in affiliate links. Like there's occasionally ads, but not a lot. So those are the two places I primarily put links from, but it takes a really long time.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm like on a tear of adding books to lists and I put 10 books down, that's 10 books I have to hunt down the links for again. And
Oof.
again, if I were
Oh,
smart, I would just go to a page on my site that I know has the link and pick it up from there, but it all takes time. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
and it's all
really
me. Like,
Yeah. No, and it's like it's really like now that we kind of know like the behind the scenes, like that's so impressive that you're like legitimately updating regularly because that is a lot of
Yeah.
work.
it's just so
Like,
funny that like
It
it
sounds like it would take a
absolutely
team.
does
yeah,
not look like it.
it's
I
yeah.
have in the past kind of like hired assistants for a short time, but nobody ever stays because I'm very annoying to work for.
Oh no.
Like I just am because there's not so much I can hand off. Like you can't get affiliate links without
Right.
me giving you the password to my bookshop, and I'm not gonna do that. Like
Right.
so,
Yeah.
you're not logged into my Amazon, you can't get affiliate links for that either. So a lot of things just kind of like have to be me.
Yeah.
And I don't really have the time. So every now and again I'll go on a page I haven't updated in like a year and I'm just like, "Oh, cool. I listed this book that's like already out of print as upcoming." That's
Oops.
fine.
Whoops.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Well,
But
you're
it just
doing
takes
great
Okay.
my
work.
organizational brain. So
I love that for you, and I wish I could be that organized. I really do, because it sounds like you're doing a real service that
Yeah.
people need,
Yeah.
but
I
I
mean,
don't know how. I
so are
don't
you. I
understand
cannot do
how.
a podcast. I know because we almost did one for LGBTQ reads and then I could not follow up.
It's yeah.
And then COVID hit.
I'm still surprised that we're doing it, honestly, because some
Yeah.
days I'm like, wait, I quit.
Yeah. We're
I'm
recording
done.
today. Today.
Wait, what are we doing? What do you mean? And it's
Thank you for
like,
not quitting before today.
Oh, we would
we would
never.
never.
Worked out
We
nicely for
love
me.
it too much.
We do. We really enjoy it. It's just, yeah,
Okay.
you're right. It's a lot of work.
Last question before we let you go, and then Karen has some bad news for you. But we've kind of touched on it a little bit. What comes next? What can we expect from you in the
Okay,
future?
so those for the rest of us. Then in June is the paperback of my Girls in Sports anthology, co-edited with Jennifer Icapelli. So that's called Out of Our League. It is already out, but like five people have read it. So you've still got time to be early on board. And then in May is my first adult romance, which I am so excited about. It's called Soon by You. It is set in the modern Orthodox community of the Upper West Side of Manhattan. He is a wedding singer and she is a perpetual bridesmaid. I gave my job as a game writer and it's really fun. I really love the pairing of like kind of wild, chaotic girl and very straight-laced guy.
Yes.
And it's like even more extreme because he observed until he met her, this Jewish law called Shomer Negia, where you literally don't touch members of the, I hesitate to say opposite sex, but like it, they're
Yeah.
binary laws in Orthodox
Yes, of
Right,
course.
Judaism.
right.
So, but men do not touch women, women do not touch men. I don't actually have not studied how the laws apply with non-binary people, but yeah, so he has never kissed a girl, he has not touched a girl, and she has touched a whole lot of boys. So
Oh
I
and
my
cannot.
he
goodness.
has been like working with a matchmaker, which is like pretty standard for religious Jews for like 10 years and never actually been attracted to anybody until her. So
I cannot properly explain to you the sound that came out of me when you made this announcement. Like,
um,
I'm so excited. The
thank you.
first book I've ever read of yours was Going By Coastal, and like the moment I finished that, I was like, please give me everything she has ever written, ever, right now, injected into my bloodstream. So like I'm wildly excited that you're diving into adult,
Oh,
Thank
it's gonna be
especially.
you.
so
I can't
good.
wait.
I'm really excited. I like wrote it. I was having a really hard time revising my last YA, Come As You Are, and I was like, I need to do something else on the side. And so I basically wrote like at least 60% of this book just while revising that as like a fun side project. So I was really far along by the time I told my agent, by the way, I have been working on something else entirely this entire time. I know it's not anything we talked about,
I
but
love
yeah,
that.
I still can't believe I'm getting like a modern Orthodox romance published. I just think it's like the funniest thing. And I don't think there is another like spicy modern Orthodox romance. So I'm very curious to see how this goes over. Um, but
I
the
mean,
few
no,
readers it had seem to like it. So
it's not a book, but people really liked, is it Nobody Wants This or No One Wants This on
nobody wants
Netflix?
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ate that
So
up. So
I
I
think
hope that
it's,
it
yeah.
follows.
So
Yeah.
that came out. like the week after this book went on submission, and I was so angry. I was like, we could
Yeah.
have sent this out with that as a comp.
Yes.
Instead, I'm just like, I really hope people make that connection.
Yeah.
Um, what's great
You
is
can
I
use it
think
as a
if you
comp
loved
now.
Nobody, yeah, it's a lot of the same vibe. So I think if you loved Nobody Wants This, you will love Soon by You. And I think if you, a lot of Jewish watchers did not love it, especially women, because they do not love the depiction of Jewish women in it as being like very shrewish and whatever. So I think if you did love Nobody Wants This, you'll love Soon by You. But if you did not love Nobody Wants This for those particular reasons, I think you will also love Soon
You
by You
still love it.
Yeah.
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 because I don't I
So you
don't think it
fixed the
has that.
flaw.
I had somebody like one of the blurbers kind of said that to me. Basically like this is what I wanted. Nobody wants this to like feel more like.
I love
Oh,
that.
I'm
And maybe
so
it's not the
excited.
same because in that not like she's not Jewish.
Right.
And Nobody Wants
Right.
This, at least in season one, but and everybody's Jewish and Soon by You they're just sort of on different ends of the observance spectrum within modern Orthodoxy, which I know sounds like that's basically the same. And I mean, whatever. It's not that hard to
Religion is
overcome it for them to be
nuanced.
Yeah.
together, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes. So I think if you liked Nobody Wants This, if you liked Rosie Downon's The Intimacy Experiment, there's a little 27 dresses in there because she's kind of a perpetual bridesmaid, and there's some fun like hijinksy wedding scenes. Yeah, there's a lot of really fun stuff. I personally think it's really funny. I'm not gonna lie.
I am
I'm
so
so
ready to be
excited.
It's
incredibly obnoxious about it.
You got to give
I
the
hope
bad
people
news,
like it. I
though.
will say, I think the most, besides that, the most unusual thing about it is sort of the pacing for a romance novel. One of my rejections was literally like, I don't understand this pacing. Because it's like a lot of steamy scenes right in the middle,
Hmm.
like one after another. And I'm like,
Of course it is. He's never touched
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah.
right? Like that's the whole
Yeah,
I
I was
feel
gonna
like
say
that
more, but
makes
I'm like,
Makes
sense.
wait,
perfect
I
sense.
don't want to spoil this, but
I feel like
so
that
it's a
makes
little
perfect
different,
sense.
like, yeah, but
Well, okay, now that we have gushed about this, we do have to give you a little bit of bad news, which
yes.
is now that you've been on the podcast, you're actually legally obligated to come back for all future book releases.
Oh,
So sorry, not
I don't know how
sorry.
I feel about. No, I know how I feel about it. That's good. I'll see you in May.
I
Oh my
can't
goodness,
wait.
I'm so excited. Everybody, when this episode airs, we're still before release day. So, September 2nd, I think
Yeah,
is what I saw. For the Rest of
correct.
Go
Us comes out.
pre-order
So you
right
can
now.
still pre-order right now. Go pre-order your copy because it's so much fun.
I
I
promise you, you will learn so much.
Yes.
Even if you celebrate some of these holidays, you probably don't celebrate them all. So you'll learn a lot
Yes.
about different cultures, and it's so fun.
Thank you
Those are
so
gonna be
much for
fun.
being here. Like, truly, this has been so much fun.
I know my face hurts.
I like literally, I'm not kidding. I think when I saw your post on Threads, I screenshot it, I sent it to Mandy, and I was like, please, please. And she was like, yes.
Go,
I'm like,
go.
she's like, go, do
You
what
don't need
you do.
me.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, thank God. I love her
Well, I
so much.
appreciate you both very much. Thank you, and I will be very happy to come back in May if you'll have me again.
Absolutely,
Oh, we are
100%.
counting down the days.
I cannot wait.
Trust me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody go pre-order for the rest of us. Show TradPub that anthologies are still in, so
Yeah.
that we can get more because I love anthologies and I think they're so much fun.
Yay.
Thank you. We will talk to you
We'll
soon,
talk to
hopefully.
you soon.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye. I just love her.
I seriously, guys, if you've never read a Dahlia Adler book, I feel very sorry for you. Please go read. Pick up anything and read it. Just pick up any one of her books, any one of her anthologies. Read. Going by Coastal changed my life. I'm I it's so good. It's so good. I read that book and I was like, give me everything else right now. Like,
Yes.
I'm obsessed. I love her. That was so cool.
You'll be pleased to know that you've educated me. And I was excited to know. I'm not going to try and pronounce it because I would not do it a good job. But the Lunar New Year greeting, I
You're
recognized it. And I was like, I know what that means.
like, wait, I know that
I
one.
texted that.
Yes, yes. So, for anybody who, I think we talked about this on the podcast when it happened, because I think it was after we had started the podcast. But for anybody who doesn't know, like, well, people know there's like multiple dialects of Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Mandarin is like the most common one. It's the main language in mainland China. But I don't speak Mandarin, I speak Cantonese. And so for Lunar New Year, Mandy Googled how to say Happy New Year in Chinese and sent it to me. And I was like,
I saw them
thanks.
both and I
Yeah.
was like, and they said like Mandarin is more popular. So I was like, all right, I'll go with that.
Yeah. And so she sent it to me. I'm like, thank you. FYI, that's Mandarin. And then I gave her the Cantonese. And I was like, no, I like the thought is what counts. It was very sweet. Like she remembered that it was Lunar New Year, first of all, because it's not like on, American calendars.
Yeah.
So like she remembered that it was Lunar New Year. And then she went through the effort of like Googling how to say it to me in like Chinese, which is really sweet.
And
And
I
it's
didn't want
like,
to ask you to tell me how to greet you
how to
on
say
your
it to you.
holiday.
Right.
Like, how do I tell you?
Right.
So,
But yeah, no, like it was so exciting for me to like see, and it's the first story in this anthology
mhm.
set on, in Lunar New Year, and it's set in San Francisco, and it's like they speak Cantonese, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that I needed this because I've always just been really excited whenever there was like Chinese just in general, and then to have
Yeah,
it actually be Cantonese, I was like, oh my God,
I know.
wait.
I was even excited. I started to text you like, I know a Chinese phrase because of you.
And it's like and I think for me too, also because like Mandarin has a kind of set like romanized version of how to write out the words. Cantonese doesn't, at least not that I know of. And so like translating Cantonese into Roman letters and putting those sounds together is really hard for me. And so to see that somebody else has done it was really cool. So, yeah. Anyways,
Everybody
go
go read this.
go pick up for the rest of us. It's so much fun. I learned so much and had so much fun with it.
Yay.
Okay, time for an announcement. Is it
Oh, I gotta
announcement
fix
time?
my Kindle.
Hold on. I also have to fix my Kindle because it turned off. How
Not
dare.
that we have the greatest thing to show today. I mean, the book is exciting, but the
But
page isn't
yeah,
that
it's not
thrilling
there.
of a
It's not there.
visual.
Hold on. It's loading. It's loading. Okay. Next week, we're bringing back our friend Kate Ballinger to talk about Wicked Believer, which is book 2 in her, what is it called? Original
Yay!
Sinners series.
Original Sinners.
So excited. We had so much fun with her last time. I hope she brings, who was it? It it wasn't Ted. It was
Roy Kent.
Roy Kent. I was like, what's his name? Why am I
How
blanking?
weird is that I was just talking about Adam Kent and now we've got
Right.
Roy Kent.
Yes, I
Yeah.
hope she brings Roy Kent back. I hope he's still
Yes.
hanging out there. But I'm so excited. We had so much fun with her last time. I can't wait.
Yes.
Yay!
Yay.
Okay, that's all of our announcements. We don't have anything else,
I
right?
think so.
I think so. Yes, no, maybe so. Yeah. Okay, so time for a spiel. Yes?
Goodness.
All right. Well, friends, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you are listening to us. Follow us on social media. We are at The Incoherent Fangirl on all the things. Visit our website, theincoherentfangirl.com, where you can also stream all of our episodes as well as read our blog. Words are hard.
Always.
I don't care that I'm a writer. Words are hard. Subscribe to our Patreon for early access to podcast episodes, full video episodes, as well as bonus content. There is so much bonus stuff from our interview with Hannah that I was like, I could leave this in, but the episode's already an hour and a half long. So, and it's not like relevant to like the bookish stuff, so it'll be bonus content. So, and it's really fun. So y'all should be excited for that.
Subscribe.
Yes, please. Head over to our merch store, theincoherentfangirl.com/shop, where you can buy some merch for the podcast because it's really cute stuff, and Mandy is really good at designing stuff.
Sometimes I get bored with an iPad.
If you have any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, design ideas you want to tell us that we're pretty, we will accept
We'll
all of
take
that
it.
in our inbox, theincoherentfangirl@gmail.com. We love hearing from y'all. And of course, one last way to support the podcast is to rate and review on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Please give us your words. We know
We
they're
love your
hard,
words.
but give in. Give.
They're not that hard. Look,
She wrote many,
Many.
200 something pages of them.
Yes. Yes.
Yay. All right. She is at Mandy Perv on all the things.
She's at Ms. Made in China on all the things.
And once you followed us on social media and you followed the podcast on social media, you can head over and visit our internet besties and do some self care. The holiday seasons will be here before you know it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good time to start your shopping. First stop, you're going to head to our friends at Here Comes the Nerd at herecomesthenerd.com. Use code FANGIRL to get 20% off your first order.
Then you're going to head over to Once Upon a Book Club. You can subscribe. You can buy some goodies. We have 2 codes that you can choose from. No, they don't stack, but you use whichever one your little heart desires, and we don't. We'll love you either way. So you can use either code Karen10 or Mandy10 for 10% off. But if you don't spell Karen right, we are going to forget your favorite holiday ever existed.
We also might sick Manon on you.
I want to, I'm going to, wait, I want to spell your name wrong.
In the bad
Sticker
way.
on me.
In the bad way. I want her to come hang out with me.
What a way to go out.
Right, though.
Let her rip my throat out. I don't care.
All right. Next up, you're going to head over to our friend Amber D. Lewis at amberdlewis.com. Add 10 of everything to your cart because, again, holidays will be here before you know it. They make great gifts. After that, you're going to add code FANGIRL10 to your cart because then you'll get 10% off of the 10 of everything, which mathematically means you've gotten 1 of everything for free. So you got something for you and for 9 of your favorite people. You're welcome.
Christmas list done. Hanukkah list done. Any gift giving get list done.
Perfect. You're welcome.
You're welcome. And last but not least, you're going to go support the show husband. He's at Born a Josh on all the things just by himself. You can go follow at Searchers Believe. That's his ghost hunting paranormal investigation group. At Searchers Podcast is the podcast that I am also a part of, yours truly. And most importantly, go subscribe to Beacon TV. It's our new streaming platform. Paranormal horror, true crime content. I still can't make the big announcement because they keep pushing the meeting and it's driving me insane. And when I explain why they keep pushing the meeting, everybody will understand and be like, oh, that makes perfect sense. But it's really frustrating right now because we have such an exciting thing to say and can't say
I'm like, is it today? Is today it happening? Nope.
I'll tell you in a minute why. But
I knowing what it is, I can probably guess.
Yeah,
but
exactly. It makes sense.
It makes sense if you already know. But like,
yes.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but I'm sitting here like that's why if you're on Patreon, you can see me being like, is today the day? Is
no,
today
it's
the
not
day?
today. God. So yeah, go subscribe to streambeacontv.com. If you use code fangirl10, you'll get 10% off. And if you want to get some merch at searchersbelieve.com/shop and use code fangirl10, you'll get 10% off there as well.
Spooky season's coming.
The show husband. Yeah.
It's a perfect
time. We're gonna dive headfirst into spooky season. So
yay.
Yay.
And that was the Incoherent
Fangirl.
Thanks for listening. We love you.
Bye. Bye.
We are sponsored by our friends at Here Comes the Nerd. Pins, stickers, magnets, and more. Here Comes the Nerd has happy art for all fandom-loving hearts. New customers can use coupon code FANGIRL during checkout for 20% off their first order at herecomesthenerd.com. Coupon applies to ready-to-ship items only.